Hi, this is Jenn Peris with Champ Body, and today we're going to do 6 different postures to help open up our hips. So of course hips are a big focus for riders, and for this one it's going to be again a seated series, but we are going to want a strap. You can get a strap or you can use a tie down. You can even use a belt if it's long enough. But just give yourself a good amount of space and have your strap handy, and we're going to start laying down on our backs. So go ahead and lay down, and we're going to do what's called a trip around the hip. So we're going to go ahead and just bring the right leg up. Go ahead and just clasping your hands to the webbings of the fingers, go ahead and bring your knee towards your shoulder. Just start to get a nice compression in that hip. Nothing too aggressive, but just start to get deep into that hip socket. I'm going to show you one side at home. You can do both. Once you know the sequence, it's really simple. So again, you can call this your trip around the hip. We're going to go ahead and place your strap or your tie down or your belt just below the ball of your toe. And then we're going to go ahead and push up, almost like you're doing a point / flex. So not flexing, not pointing, but kind of a halfway in between. That way we're going to feel a little bit more stretch into that hamstring. So we're going to try to straighten that leg to capacity. If that's not where you are today, just go to where your edge is and listen to your body's feedback. And go ahead and start to bring your hand up on your strap, wherever it feels comfortable. The other hand can be resting on the top of your left thigh. For some of you, grabbing your toe is going to feel really good. Again, if you're right here, that's fine as well. But what we want to start to do is we want to start to bring that toe and that leg towards your face. So again, trying to keep the top leg and the bottom leg engaged and straight. Again, don't lose that point flex. Stabilizing the ankle, stabilizing the knee, and really pressing that hip down into the ground. And then what we're going to do is bring it straight back up to 90. We're going to go ahead and open it up to the side. So we talk a lot about the hip joint being a ball and socket joint. So what that means is to really stretch and open up our hips, we need to go all the way around the hip. So when we say trip around the hip, that means because we have to do lots of different poses to really get in deep into that hip to warm it up. So here we're trying to articulate and rotate those toes out. And go ahead and bring it back up. Switch hands on your strap and go ahead and bring it across the other way. Here we're going to get a nice little IT band stretch. So it doesn't take a lot of movement, shockingly, to get into that IT bend. So really ground both of your hips down into the floor. Really feel like you're bringing the top of that hip bone into the back of that hip socket. And then go ahead and slightly cross body with your strap and feel the stretch along your IT band. So 2 wonderful areas that you get with one stretch. And again, keeping the rest of the engagement in your legs. And go ahead and bring it back up. Bring it towards your head one last time. If you want to, you can start to raise your head towards your knee, towards your foot. Just remember, every day is a different day. Both legs will feel different. You're going to work on both legs. The other side might be better. It might not. Just make sure to listen to your body. So the next ones are seated as well. We're going to come into like a butterfly pose. So what that means is we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. I like to put my hands behind my hips, lift up, and then move my hips and my pelvis towards my heels. And then sit down nice and square on our sit bones. So our sit bones are those bones that are coming in contact with the ground. From here, just once again, lifting up through the spine, raising up through the crown of the head. And what we want to do is we want to work on that piriformis. We want to externally rotate our legs. So instead of pushing on our knees, this does nothing but cause injury. What we want to do is our knees will descend if we open our hips and we externally rotate our hips. It'll naturally descend those knees. If they're up here right now, it doesn't matter. What you're doing is great. So just stay where you are, stay with your breath. And then if you want to, you can go ahead and start to lean forward. Sometimes it's nice to have like a helmet, have a block, have a bolster, have a pillow. You can really stretch out, put your head on the ground, just go ahead and relax. And again, the action of hinging forward at the hips, not crunching the spine, externally rotating those hips out to descend the knees. You'll get a really good groin hip stretch. And stay there for a while, and then go ahead and come back up. Now we are going to move our heels away from our pelvis. So we're sitting still nice and square on our sit bones. Sometimes you can move the flesh out of the way. Then we can take our hands and we can place them underneath our calves. And then we can grab our toes. And then from here, this allows us to have a little resistance so we can really stretch and lengthen the spine. And then go ahead and begin to fold forward. So same action that we were doing before, but even moving those heels about 12, 18 inches away from the pelvis. Again, we're moving into a different spot in that hip joint. And go ahead and come back up. And there's a lot of other things that we could do seated, but I promised you 6. So hopefully if you work on those, you'll start to open up the hips, and we'll do more later. Thanks, and make sure to follow Champ Body on Facebook and let us know if you want to see other videos. Thanks, bye.